is Jokno being overly positive here with a projection of a return to pre-pandemic growth by the third quarter? Well, earlier, Neda in fact said it might come as soon as the first quarter. When do you see this happening?
I don't think he's over optimistic. No? As you remember in our previous conversations, we talked about the factors in terms of a faster economic growth, and we identified the vaccination rate is a huge factor. And second is the roadmap of the Philippine government in terms of fully opening up our economy. No? And as of the last 2 weeks, we've seen the long-term plan of the government in terms of really fully opening our economy, and that actually signals to the whole business community that we're back in the game, no? And therefore, whatever plans you may have that you may have suspended or you are uncertain of continuing, now is the time. The game is on, and therefore, I think following that particular signal and receiving a very good number in the third quarter of our GDP for 2021, despite the lockdown in August, signals that we have a very strong economic fundamental growth already. And therefore, everything will be looking upwards from this point on. And therefore, a third quarter return to pre-pandemic is, I think, very achievable at this point.
But what would you say are the downside risks here to growth?
I think the downside here is when the government backtracks on its plan to fully open our economy. So if they will have confusing signals in terms of how long, when are we going to fully open our economy, then that will give us, no, another contribution to the slowdown in terms of business confidence. Remember, the unemployment rate that was reported way back in September. We have correlated it with those particular factors, no, vaccination rate and the no clarity in terms of opening up our economy. But right now, I think the business sector is bullish. All groups are already revising their particular forecasts and outlook for the next year, and in fact for the remaining weeks of this year. And so we have this sense of rejoicing among the business sector that they can now plot out their plans for the next couple of quarters. And therefore, that particular return, I'm assuming that Governor Jokno is referring to that levels of around 5 trillion pesos quarterly GDP levels. And that can be hit already by the third quarter. So I think I'm very bullish, and that's consistent with what we've been talking about, that the sources of economic growth for the Philippines have been there. We've just locked them down. No, so the consumption power of the families, of the teenagers, and now we are awaiting for the consumption power of the kids that greatly multiplies the family consumption expenditures.